Hello everyone, freelancer miner for hire, Law of the West here reporting for duty. Sorry I'm late, I had a little incident with security that kinda held me up for a bit. Everything's cool now though. Today I've been hired by Stratcom to go check out what the current mining situation is like on Arial and report my findings back to them. So far the focus is going to be on determining how frequently you'll find mineable rocks, what they mainly consist of, and what their percentages of ore are. Stratcom's been kind enough to provide me with a prospector to use for this mission. It's fully loaded and appears to be in good working condition. It's even already insured just in case I have an unfortunate mishap out there. They're also going to allow me to keep all the ore I collect and the profits that I get from selling it. So my plan of attack is to start off by heading to one of the outposts on Arial and then gradually moving away from it in a continuous direction. I could just randomly land anywhere that looked nice and begin blindly searching for stuff to mine, but that tends to yield the worst results, and if you've lucked out by doing that, then you're exactly that, lucky. It also makes it incredibly difficult, if not flat out impossible, to find that same spot again if you want to return and continue mining. Here's a little pro tip for you. Outposts are usually built with a dual purpose in mind. They do provide a safe place to land if you're close by and happen to be in need of shelter, but they're also usually placed where they are because they're smack dab in the middle of some of the most ore-rich deposits found in the hemisphere. This makes them a great location to send out ground-based mission expeditions from. You just have to pick the right direction to head off in. So that makes an outpost a good place to start looking from. They also help to provide a frame of reference to go by if you plan on returning and continuing to mine in that same area. And this way of finding ore is going to have to suffice for now, at least until I can get my hands on some long-range orbital scans or some information broker's list of specific coordinates where the richer veins could be found. When it comes to Arial, I have my choice of two landing zones to visit, the HDMS Lathan and the HDMS Bezdik. The first site I picked to land at is Lathan, and then once I'm done evaluating that site, I'll be heading over to Bezdik next. Just look at this place. The radiation levels in some areas are so high that it still remains mostly untouched even today. Put simply, it's not the kind of place that you want to break down in. There's far too many less risky places to mine, and most of them are a lot closer to an LZ than this place is. Lathan seems to have turned out to be a good place to search for ore. I'm still within view of the LZ and I've already gotten some hits on my radar to go check out. I've finished checking out several of the rock clusters found in the immediate area and I've noticed a trend so far. The three most common ore deposits that I've come across are Hephaestonite, quartz, and bexylite. I know from experience that quartz is junk and not even worth gathering, especially when found in these percentages, which is less than 1% in most cases. They're mainly just taking up space in the saddlebags I could be using to fill up with a higher quality of ore. It should be noted that although these ore deposits are easy to find, the percentages of Hephaestonite and bexylite seem to be on the low side. Around 2% seems to be the average found in each extractable piece of rock fragment. That's the bare minimum percentage that I'd recommend for picking up bexylite, and it's just below the bare minimum percentage for what I'd recommend when mining Hephaestonite. On top of everything else, my filtration system isn't working, which means I can't dump the quartz that I've accidentally picked up or the large amounts of particulate matter that's being extracted along with the ore. So whatever I grab, I'm stuck with for now. I've decided to move on to the second landing zone and see if the situation is any different over there. I started out at the LZ again, but didn't get a single hit on my radar until I was roughly about 10,000 meters away from the outpost. After that, things started to pick up. More and more mineable rock clusters started popping up all over the place. Each one still predominantly consisted of the same three types of ore: Hephaestonite, bexylite, and quartz. After breaking these rocks apart down to extractable sizes, I found that the percentages of Hephaestonite found in each one tended to be a lot higher in this area. They range from 2 to 5% on the low average, and in some rare instances up to 11%. The bare minimum that I'd recommend for mining Hephaestonite is 2.5%. Rocks are found less frequently out here, but the quality of the ore tends to be a bit higher. So it's up to you to decide which is more important to you, your time or the payout. I wouldn't recommend mining quartz at all, which would have to be more around 50% or higher to make any money off it. And bexylite I'd recommend being above 2% before it's worth mining. I have a couple of issues with mining on Arial. The first of which is that because of the extreme brightness and the amount of reflected light coming off the landscape, I find it extremely hard to read the ship's HUD. So mining in the daytime is actually more difficult to do here than during the nighttime. I also have some mixed feelings about mining at night. The ground's level enough so that you don't have to worry about some lone hill jumping out at you from out of nowhere, but the lights on the prospector are really weak. Too weak for this kind of work if you ask me. Well, they could really benefit from being jacked way up, or perhaps even having a secondary floodlight option added in. I also have a quality of life improvement that I'd like to suggest for this ship. It would be a software enhancement for the sensors, particularly one that keeps track of what rocks you've already scanned so that you don't mistakenly keep going back to the same cluster over and over again. I don't need anything that's over the top or too fancy, just a simple color change for the rock icon, which would take effect after you've scanned it. My final evaluation for using Arial as a potential new source for mining is as follows. The best type of ore for you to mine is going to be Hephaestonite. It's a high quality ore, it's easy to find, and it's more expensive than Laranite and equal in value to Borase or Terranite. But I found that the percentages that it comes in on average are very low. Bexelite is still the highest quality ore that you'll find on Arial, but coming across percentages of it that are worth collecting is extremely hard to come by. Cost evaluation puts the earnings of an average run at between 2 and 4,000 UEC. Usually, I like to earn at least 10,000 per run minimum, which for the time spent leaving port, transporting down to the surface of the moon, finding suitable rocks to mine, and taking the return trip back to be far too lengthy to be cost effective for the amount of revenue you're pulling in per mining run. If you have the patience and the time to invest in looking for Hephaestonite that's found in concentrations of around 5 to 11%, then you can make out like a bandit. But these are rare to come across, and it's going to take some time searching before you find them. Next, the closest depository to sell your ore in is Hurston, which takes too long to land at when compared to other LZs like Olisar and Grimhex. Plus, once you've landed, you still have to make your way by train over to the admin building in order to sell your stuff. And to add insult to injury, the machines in the admin building were experiencing some technical difficulties when I was there, so I had to ship all my ore over to Olisar before I could sell it. My advice would be to steer clear of Arial, at least until the orbital refineries are up and running. Once those are in effect, making quick runs back and forth between the two could prove to be highly effective. If you're specifically looking for Hephaestonite, then this is the place to go to. But there's far too many better choices and quicker routes to use if you just want to make money. For instance, the run between Yella and Grimhex, or between Olisar and, well, pretty much anywhere. On the mineable scale that goes from 1 to 10, I'd give Arial a 4. You can make money off it if you're patient, and even luck out if you find a rare high-quality rock. But there are far better options waiting for you out there. I find mining runs to and from Arial to be unnecessarily lengthy, and the payout could be minimal despite being surrounded by such high-quality ore like Hephaestonite and Bexelite. You can make money by mining Arial, just not enough on average to warrant making the trip out to it. Well, that's going to be it for my report on mining Arial. Thanks for watching, and take care.